today I have another pretty good question from a subscriber. We got the Note 20 Ultra versus the S21 Ultra. Is this a good upgrade if you're looking for a cheap upgrade, if you want to, test out the newer software with the One UI 7? And, the S21 is pretty cheap, but I don't think this is the best upgrade. I would say to try to get at least an S22 Ultra, and I know depending on the country, the price difference, could make it's a big deal, right? But this is not, I don't think it's a bad upgrade, but you do actually kind of lose some things like the SD card support, so that's the big hardware change with this, with these two phones. And then also, one thing I like, the S21 is a lot more comfortable to hold as well too. And also you lose the built-in S Pen. The S Pen still works on the S21, but it's not built in like on the Note. So that's also one thing that you are going to lose, but it does still work. You can use it as normal. But yeah, as far as the hardware goes, there's actually not too much different here, but I do think it is a lot more comfortable. They're both IP68, but again, you lose SD card support. As far as the display upgrade, there is actually technically an upgrade here, but on the Note 20 Ultra, it's a pretty similar display. It's actually a bigger display at 6.9 inches, and it's a little bit more squared off. And they're both curved displays, so it's a dynamic AMOLED 6.9-inch display, 120 Hz HDR10 plus. It's 1440p, but you can only use the 1080. You can only use the 120 Hz at 1080p, and it's $496 for the PPI. And overall, it's still a very nice looking display. Still to this day, very nice, vibrant colors. And the advantage with the S21 Ultra is that you can use the 1440p at 120 Hz. And it's pretty similar in specs as well. Dynamic AMOLED, 120 Hz, HDR10 plus. It does have a higher max brightness, so outdoors in direct sunlight, it's a little bit more, visible. But 1440p, 515, they both look pretty great still. Even the Note running in 1080p from this distance, it still looks pretty good. But yeah, guys, I don't think that it's a big upgrade when it comes to the display, but it does, look sharper because you're going to be using it in 1440p, 120 Hz. So yeah, so as far as the display goes, it's a okay upgrade for the most part, and they both are curved, but the S21 Ultra has kind of a more subtle curve. You have a more kind of dramatic curve on the Note here, but besides that, I mean, the displays are pretty similar in quality. Alright, so as far as the processors go, the S21 has the Snapdragon 888 processor, and then you have the 865 on the Note 20 Ultra. You have 128 gigs and 8 gigs of RAM on the S21, and then on the Note you have 128 gigs, and I believe this one is, it's 12 gigs of RAM on this one. I thought I had the 8 gig one. But as far as performance goes, yes, the Note is going to, not perform as well, but it's actually pretty close in the multi-core, and the single core is not crazy. So it's not a crazy jump. So you guys can kind of see why I'm not crazy about this upgrade. Not a crazy jump in performance here. Let's test out some apps. Opening. Now the big jump here, hold on, let me exit out of this. The big jump here is you get the One UI 7, so you get the newer animations and the newer feel. And one thing I like about these phones is that they don't wobble on the table. A lot of phones these days, they have a crazy wobble. But as you guys can see, it's really not that far apart when it comes to performance. So that's why I said, I know saving up a bit more money can be, it's probably not what you want to hear. But I definitely think if you save up some money, try to get an S23 Plus, maybe a base model S23. But if you want like a big phone, I would say bare minimum S22 Ultra. But I'm still not, like, I still wouldn't even make that upgrade because it's not going to be a significant upgrade in my opinion. Like, if you really want a nice performance boost, it would have to be like a S23. series phone. But as you guys can see, it's literally almost the same. Now, the kind of downside with the S21 Ultra is that we don't get all of the AI features, so that's also one thing. So even though you're getting One UI 7, you don't really get to experience the intelligent features or the Galaxy AI or whatever. But Circle to Search is here, and the new Gemini is built in on the S21, which is nice. But I would say performance-wise, yes, the S21 is a lot smoother with the animations with One UI 7. But in general performance, and even if we get into PUBG, I don't really feel a difference in performance at all. And the S21 Ultra, for me as a ladder user, I don't really have issues with this phone heating up and stuff like that. But for heavier users, it's a big complaint on the channel. People will tell you all the time that they don't like the way the phone kind of heats up. But yeah, so as far as performance goes, I would say that this is not a significant upgrade here. Alright guys, on the Note, it's still playing very well at 90 frames. So this phone, that's why I said performance wise, it's really not that much better at all. And the S21 Ultra is also still playing at 90 frames pretty well. So I would say, again, not a performance boost in my opinion. Yeah, so the S21 speakers are, pretty good. They sound pretty similar. It lacks just a little bit more bass than the Note 20 Ultra for sure. But they are very similar, so I wouldn't necessarily say this is a downgrade. Yeah, I mean, both speakers aren't like super strong when it comes to being like really loud, having really punchy bass. But I think it's fine. I don't really think most people would notice the difference, because it's a slight difference. And the fingerprint scanners are exactly the same, guys. So they both have the ultrasonic fingerprint sensors. They both work really well. You can also use face unlock on these as well. Here's a camera upgrade here. So on the S21, it's a 100 megapixel camera here, and then we also have a 10 megapixel telephoto. And then we can go 3 times, and then we have another periscope telephoto at 10 megapixels, and that gets you up to 100 times zoom. Then we have a 12 megapixel ultra wide on here as well, 8K 24 video, and then a 40 megapixel selfie that shoots in 4K 60. The Note, on the other hand, has a 108 megapixel as well, 12 megapixel periscope telephoto. Now this one is a 5 times optical zoom, and it goes all the way up to 50 times hybrid zoom. You also have a 12 megapixel ultra wide, shoots in 8K 24, and you also have a 10 megapixel selfie that shoots in 4K 60. Now here's the, kind of the big thing here. I don't think the battery life upgrade here is good at all. The S21 Ultra has decent battery life. Like if you guys watch my like CES Vegas day in a life thingy, it did fine as a lighter user. But I'm telling you, GPS and doing a lot of gaming will drain this phone. And it's 5,000 milliamps, 25 watt charging, wireless and reverse wireless charging. And then the Note actually has similar battery life. It's a 4,500 milliamps, so it's even smaller, 25 watts. And then you also have wireless and reverse wireless charging. There's not like a gigantic difference, in my opinion, between these two phones with the screen on time. A screen on time, light user, you can get through the day. Heavy user, you cannot. You would have to charge both these phones. So I'm curious to know what you guys think, and let me know.